One question I get a lot is the L Word Generation Q going to be renewed for another season? And that's what we're going to discuss today, as there was an article that came out from Deadline that specifically mentioned the L Word in regards to renewals and franchises. And I'm also going to discuss what it means for the cast and who will be returning if there is another season, specifically Jennifer Beals, Laurel Holloman, Seppi Moafi, what's going to happen with them. And then also just some general thoughts about things that would change with the show and what would happen if there is a season 4, and do I think there's going to be one? So let's get right into it. So I want to start out with the Deadline article, and this is coming from Chris McCarthy, who is the new person in charge of whether a Showtime show is renewed or not. Previously, it was obviously people at Showtime, and now that they've been bought out by Paramount, it's Chris McCarthy who's in charge of this sort of thing. This article actually was a Yellowjackets renewal article, and they've actually been renewed for season 3 before season 2's even aired. This is because last year when they got their season 2 renewal, it was a few episodes in, and it was the 16th of December, I think. So their actual casting options had to be picked up now. So that's why they've done this renewal, and because the show's super, super successful. So they'd be crazy not to exercise the options. So that's why they've done it a little bit early. And I'm going to read this little blurb from Chris McCarthy so you know where the L Word is mentioned. As we head into 2023 and beyond, our plan is to lean into Showtime's strengths and focus on 3 key areas that have defined the brand: complex and subversive anti-heroes like Dexter and Yellowjackets, powerful high-stakes worlds like Homeland and Billions, and unconventional cultural takes like The L Word and The Shy, all with an eye towards making the biggest hits possible and building them into franchises, as we've done very successfully across the company. So there they mentioned the L Word, and specifically the L Word, so not Generation Q. I do think that's because, like, obviously the L Word is the original franchise starter, and they do also mention like Homeland, that is a show that hasn't been on for a long time. Dexter obviously had its 1 season reboot and then it was done. And I do think that they're more just using these as examples. When I first read this article, I thought, oh, that looks great that they've mentioned the L Word. But reading it again, I do think they just were like using examples of these 3 areas that they want to hit. But it does kind of generate the conversation, like what is going to happen? I mean, do I want the L Word to be renewed? Of course. Like, I love this show, and when it's still on TV, they still have the chance to get it together and to tell the stories that we want to see. And if the show's cancelled, like, there's no more stories. So I do want to see it, but judging on what's happening on the IMDb ratings, and obviously I'm not taking all my information from IMDb ratings, but just even looking in my comment section, looking on Twitter, looking on Instagram, reading my Instagram comments. And as I said before, when the L Word is on, I have like 1 million people that are coming through my channel at the moment. And that's a lot of people and a lot of opinions. And although, you know, not everybody likes this couple or this character, like there's a range of opinions, I would say overwhelmingly at the moment, people are not happy, and you can see that on any form of social media. And again, like, go look at my comments, you will see takes about everything, but it's overwhelmingly unhappiness at the moment. I do think that they can get it together. I do think they have the ability. They've done it before. They can do it again. And before I talk about whether I think there is going to be a 4th season, I want to just touch on the casting stuff. From everything that I've heard, this is the last season of Jennifer Beals, Laurel Holloman, and Seppi Moafi. I mean, does this mean forever they're closing the door and never ever doing anything again? Like, I don't know that. I can't tell the future. But from what I've been told, this is the end. Like, they are writing the end of Bette, Tina. Like, they're trying to give an ending. And I did hear when I was on set, someone told me that this episode 10 of season 3, has been written as an ending. But of course, like, you know, like the original L Word, it ends and you can start something else. But I do think we are going to get the last chapter and hopefully happily ever after for Bette and Tina. And if you want to know more about what's happening with Bette and Tina, the ending, a certain freezer scene, and some little sneak peeks at like engagement things, then take a look at my videos that I'll link in the cards above and down below. And of course, I'll continue talking about all that stuff throughout the advent calendar. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can get notified every day when I post a new video. But that leads me on to Seppi Moafi and Laurel Holloman. Obviously, if Jennifer Beals isn't on the show, and as I said, they're writing this ending as if it's a Bette and Tina ending. So Laurel Holloman is obviously going to logically leave the show when Jennifer Beals does. I mean, you're not going to get Tina without Bette because Laurel's really there because Jennifer asked her. So that is Bette and Tina. I think we will not see them even if there is a fourth season. And in regards to Seppi, I mean, I really just don't know what they're doing, like why they're not announcing that she's not with the show anymore. As I've said for a long time now, I do know that this is her done. Like she's not in the rest of season 3, and because they've done this, like written her out in the 3rd episode, I don't see her coming back for the 4th season. Could like miracles occur? Of course, like I can't tell the future, but I just don't see it. Like you're writing her out in the 3rd episode and then just ignoring the fact that she's not in the rest of the season. I don't think that there's really any possibility of her coming back for season 4 after everything that's happened. So do I think there's going to be a 4th season? What a complicated question. If I look at my own comment section on YouTube, my own Instagram, my Twitter, IMDb ratings, people are not happy with the show at the moment. It's really hard to tell what Showtime number wise is seeing, because if people are still watching the episode, then you know they don't really have feelings either way if people are mad or happy or what. I mean, obviously they see social media, and this show in particular is so driven by social media that they actually might like that, like people are so enraged, because obviously they're on social media for two extremes, because they're really happy or they're really angry, and maybe they realized they couldn't make us really happy all the time, so they decided to go with this. But that's just my own little conspiracy theory. But I do know this show is incredibly expensive to make, and they did actually ask them for season 3 to film in Vancouver, but the showrunner said no, so they didn't do it because they were trying to save them money. Everybody that I've spoken to, which is mostly before the season started airing, Showtime people that work on the show, most said that they did not think there was going to be another season, and they told me that the show had been written as a finale. The ending of season 3 is an ending. So I don't know whether anything's kind of changed, because again, like most of that was pre-airing. And again, like even just the fact that Paramount owns the show, that completely throws everything up in the air, because even people that worked at Showtime that maybe were used to like how things went or like what made something be renewed, it's not really following that anymore because it's a different Paramount world. And there's also things like I said, the show's expensive to make. It shoots in LA. It's a huge cast. They have lots of sets, but they've just lost big cast members. Jennifer Beals by far was making the most money on the show, and they've lost her executive producer credit too. So that's a savings. And I hate to say it like that. And then Seppi also is gone. That's another series regular that's gone. An expensive guest star, because Laurel, everybody get their coin. Absolutely. That's the one thing. These people probably weren't paid enough for what they were doing for the community, but those are big savings that the show will have now. So does that kind of balance it out? Will they ask them to do it in Vancouver, Or they could even make an ultimatum and say, listen, you can have a 4th season, but you need to film in Vancouver. So these things are all totally up in the air. It's really hard to say either way. I do think no matter what, the show is going to be extremely different, because we can see it now without those main characters, Bette, Tina, and Gigi, that are going. The show is very different. And I do think there is still totally the possibility to have a fun, great show, and they're not utilizing Alice and Shane enough. I think that they need to really rethink a lot of these pairings and a lot of the people that are getting the majority of the screen time. But that's just one woman in a spare bedroom with a cat's humble opinion. So let me know yours down in the comment section. And do you think there's going to be a 4th season? If I really had to put money on it, I probably would say no, but I still do want there to be one. So let me know down in the comment section. Follow me on social media and make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with everything. And as always, make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.